Hey there, it's Pete with GCI Turf. Hope you're having a great day today. If you hear my pump over there running in the background, I got a cart buddy over there. I'm doing some testing on the pump, some overheating issues. So be sure to watch that video. Look at here. Look at some of this brown through here. Right there, that's in my front yard. And then you come right over here, everything looks a lot better. Just a handful of little brown spots here and there, but we're going to look at the different browns today. 3 different kind of browns. Is it brown because it's dormant? Is it brown because it's diseased? Or is it brown because it is dead? So let's jump into this right here. The whole reason I'm even doing this is because fall is right around the corner. People are going to be getting geared up for aerating and overseeding to fix areas like this so that you can get your yard back to a acceptable place. To me, that's not acceptable, but there's just not a dang thing I can do about it right now, because right now is not the time to overseed. We'll have to wait at least another month and a half before I can tackle that. Of course, that's weather dictated. You don't want to seed cool season turf in the beginning of August unless you're just some Superman or something like that. So the first thing I want to say is you have to pay attention to your turf. Okay, you have to pay attention to your turf grass because, and this is throughout the year, this is throughout the entire year, especially during the heat of the summer growing cool season, there will be a transition period, meaning when it starts getting hot and dry and the rain shuts off, or maybe you can't irrigate enough, you're going to see a different shade of color in your turf before it goes brown. It's going to get a bluish, almost gray tint to it in a way, kind of a deep blue gray tint. And then the next step after that is then it's going to begin to turn brown. So that's how you know for sure if that's heat or drought stress or lack of water, whatever you want to call it. That's the telltale sign, is that beginning bluish gray color. I don't have any heat stress in the yard right now. We just got 2.5, 3 inches of rain. The stressed areas are gone, so I don't have any of that to show you, but you can look it up on the internet, on Google, and see what it looks like. It's just a blue tint to the grass. So what I'm getting at is if you pay attention and you see that area that is that blue gray tint, then a week or so later it begins to turn brown. Another thing that you can look for is needling of the grass blades itself. Fescue blades are supposed to be nice and flat like that. Well, if it curls up, I can't curl my hand up, but if it curls up and it starts looking like a round needle, how the edges of the blade fold in like that right there, that's needling. That's a sign of dehydration. So that can be your sign to look for. And of course, you want to take a mental memory of this. Okay, this is where it gets a little tricky. You want to remember these areas in your yard, and you see that blue-gray tint, heat stress, then all of a sudden you get a good rain and that goes away, it turns back green. That's your dead giveaway. There's something going on in the ground right there. Isolated dry spot or hot spot or hard ground or hydrophobic ground or whatever it is. There's some reason in that area right there it's causing heat stress when everything else isn't around it. But this video is about the browns, okay? So I want you to take that mental note so that you can remember when you see those blue gray areas and then they turn brown, that brown is from heat stress. So that's one brown. So this little spot right here is some old gray leaf spot right there. And of course I've cleaned this up with an application, so it's not gonna further spread. And I'm actually getting ready to do another application today to further that. But I wanted to show you a lesion on the leaf blade, but I can't find any lesions on any grass blades. Let's go over here to my neighbors and see if I can find some over here. Ooh, look at there. That's my neighbors, and it is rough. It gets full-blown sun all afternoon, and This is the same neighbor that, I've mowed for that whole season. And then, I've done the treatments out here and all that. Same neighbor right across the street from me. And he's got irrigation, but he just, it's his choice, his yard. He chooses not to run it. And I don't even know if he could run it enough this year. It's been so bad. But this brown right here, we're going to study this brown right here and try to figure out what it is. But going back to the disease, you see those little black rings? Or that little black line right there? I tell you what, let me get my camera out on my phone. It's going to be a little bit clearer. All right, there we go. Now we're cooking. See those little rings right there? Those little black rings with a little bit of brown in the middle. Okay, see that? Let me find another one right here. Oh, this is a great example. See this right here? See how it's brown? Well, it's like a tan, like a light brown. See how it's got that little dark ring around the light brown right there? That is the brown you're looking for when it comes to disease. So I just pulled those grass blades from right here in this area, and we're going to come over here in the middle of the brown and look for some more. And I can see some speckling on a lot of these grass blades right here. A lot of lesions, but I don't think this is a widespread disease issue. I know the history on this yard, and it always gets a little rhizoctonia, brown patch. Brown patch typically ain't gonna wipe out a yard like this right here and just destroy it and kill it. So if I look at my environmental factors, meaning that big ball of goodness cooking this section the entire day, all day long, it gets a little bit of morning shade and just a touch of afternoon shade, and literally the rest of the day it is full-blown sun. I look at that, it's on a slope area right here where the water ain't going to hold quite as good. I mean, you look right down here in the bottom of the ditch, look how green that grass is, and come right up here on the slope and you can see where it's not. So I put those environmental factors in here. I'm going to go with heat stress. And, on top of that, not only do I pay attention to my yard, I pay attention to all the yards in my neighborhood when I ride in and out. And I literally watched this entire section right here turn blue, turn gray, that grayish hue, and then slowly but surely it just started to turn brown and turn brown and turn brown. Now, here's the kicker right here. Is this dead? Well, let's get down in here. Let's dig down in here and try to get to the crown of the plant, because I'm trying to find the crown. And no, this isn't a scientific way to do it. It's just my way of doing it, and it's kind of worked. Sometimes it's right and sometimes it's wrong, but if you get down to the crown and dig that out, you can see the root system right here. You can see some stems right here, and then of course leaf blade would have come off of that. But the crown's kind of right down there in the bottom. Now I'm looking for any sign of life, and this is a green plant, and the grass is green, right? And I'm seeing absolutely none whatsoever. When I feel this in my hand, it feels kind of dry and crunchy, and all of that just feels and looks dead. I just see no life whatsoever in that by the color and by the way it feels. And typically if you pulled some of this apart, you would see some green down inside the stem or whatever, and there's just nothing. There's absolutely nothing. And then see how dry and crunchy this is on top. So I'm going to go with dead. This entire section right here is dead. That means the turf is zapped. It's out. No coming back to life. Another way you can kind of feed off of that way of looking at it is we're in a cool spell right now. We just got quite a bit of rain, like 2 inches of rain, almost 3 inches. And a lot of this other grass through here was in the same state. It was still brown. Well, a lot of this grass after that rain has really popped back to life big time. I mean, it's really perked up. This did not perk up, and it ain't gonna perk up. I'm telling you, this is dead as a hammer right here, based on everything that I've said so far. I don't know what in the world. Oh, that's a different kind of grass. Look at that. That's like a chewing fescue or a creeping red fescue or something like a super thin bladed fescue. And you see it right there. It's dead too, I believe. So how do you fix this? Can you just come out here with a plugger and plug this? Of course you can. You can take a plugger, but you'd have to plug the piss out of it and really, whoop, my sprayer just cut off. I'll be right back. All right, sorry about that. I'm kind of multitasking today. But the way you fix this right here is obviously it's going to have seed. Now, some of this might come back as we get into cooler seasons, cooler temperatures in the fall. But I've seen this so many times that I think this turf right here is dead as a hammer. It's not dormant. So I'm going to use the Ventrac broom and I'm going to rake all this dead out and kind of expose a lot of dirt, and then come in and aerate and seed it using my Stinger, my GT30. I'll plug this real good, go over this 3, 4, 5 times, expose as much dirt as possible. And then I'll seed this area at about 10 pound per thousand rate with the GCI Turf Type Tall Fescue. So we had a brown in disease over there where you see lesions. Look at the Dallas grass. Brown with lesions, and disease can show you different shapes in a yard. You can get kind of streaky patterns. You can get round patterns. You're never going to get perfect dead straight lines with disease. It's just always an abnormal shape pattern. And that's the way you can define disease, with the lesions and the pattern of the brown. And then, of course, dead is just, I mean, it's dead as a hammer. And you got to look at your environmental signs on that. What's your weather been for the past month, 2 months? And then if you do get some rain and cooler weather, does the turf bounce back? Or do areas bounce back? And then you see areas that don't bounce back. And typically those areas that don't bounce back, typically they're hammered. They're done for. And we come over here in my backyard, and you can see that stressed out area. You can still see just a small hint of it right in here. That's that same area, just a very small hint of it right there that was stressed. But once we got that rain, oh, it's really popped back. It looked way worse than that. Now I'm gonna walk up on this other brown spot. This is a bonus brown spot right here. Can you see it right there? Right here. See that really dark brown spot? Almost looks like somebody spilled oil in the yard. Now, if you see this, you need to take immediate action. This is Pythium, and the way you can tell it's Pythium is it's going to have a super dark brown color. Typically going to start out in a little spot like this right here, and then watch, when you pull this up, see how shiny that is? When you feel it, it's kind of greasy feeling. It almost feels like a grease right there. And then when you stick your hand down in there, all that is real greasy feel. Look at this. Oh, look at that greasy looking, shiny, nasty mess. Now, I already made the application on this. I went down with mefenoxam, propiconazole, and azoxystrobin, and then give it a good water to water all this in real good. But look at these leaf blades right here. Look at how dark brown that leaf blade is. But that's a dead sign, dead giveaway that I'm dealing with some Pythium right here. Matter of fact, I am going to get my little landscaper to rake. I'm going to lightly rake some of this out and try and pull some of that out and throw it in a trash can. But boy, you can definitely see it down in there. It is all greasy and nasty and yucky. Fortunately, that's the one and only spot in the entire yard I got. So hopefully I've caught that in time, because Pythium can be absolutely devastating to a yard. Now let's come back here. We'll talk about that brown spot in a minute, because that's an ultra rare, I mean super rare occasion brown spot. Back in the bluegrass, I know for a fact all this was diseased. You can see by the round shapes right here, and threw the book at it. But I went back and looked at the comments, done some homework, treated it for some of the different things you guys said it was. I still think all this was summer patch, just because to my knowledge, some of those other diseases you guys were telling me about, you can apply a fungicide and it'll clear it up. Summer patch, to my knowledge, will not clear up. Once you get it, it's there until the fall of the year, until you overseed or whatever. And look at all these patches right here. That's what makes me think I was dealing with summer patch and dealing with a very, very bad case of it. Here's a older one. You see it's still got a little patch of green in the middle. Of course, this right here is another brown, a disease. That's a perfect one right there. See that little circle and got that little bit of green right in the middle, and then handful of lesions on there, little teeny tiny lesions on those grass blades right there. But I'm still pumping fungicide to this out here. No matter what I throw at it, I'll still keep getting a handful of fresh spots. Like, look, that's a newer spot just right there. So, I don't know, maybe I'm diagnosing it wrong. But I mean, I've got every fungicide known to man, and I've thrown the book at it, and nothing seems to work on these spots. But this is another brown right here. I know for a fact that this was disease, and I'm unsure if this is going to come back when I get down in here and rake and feel. Look at this. Look how dry that is. Absolutely no life whatsoever. So I'm going to probably say this is not going to come back. That's going to be dead. Remember this spot right here at the road? If you follow this line right here and go all the way around, this entire area was brown about a week ago. We got all that rain. A bunch of this just popped right back to life and green right back up. A bunch of it did not. So that's my sign. It's going to lead me to believe that this right here is dead as a hammer. This big brown section right here, because I got the rain, the weather cooled off, and all of this right here popped back to life, but this section didn't. Does that mean in a month from now, when it really cools down, will this pop back to life? I don't know. We'll have to wait until we get to that point in time and see, but I've seen dead turf enough that I'm pretty convinced that right there is dead as a hammer. Same thing with these areas over here. Pretty sure all this is dead, and it'll just have to be raked out. And of course, like I said, I'm going to use my Ventrac back here. I'm going to try something totally new, that Ventrac broom, and see if I can't rake and rake and rake and rake and get all that brown out, just like that right there, and expose the ground much better so I can just get good seed to soil contact. Now, like I said earlier in my neighbor's yard, you can run over this enough times with an aerator, a plugger, to where it'll pull up enough dirt and enough cores to where you'll get good seed to soil contact. And I could do that, but I've been fortunate. I got a Ventrac, and I just want to try something new, so that's the only reason I'm going to do it that way. I call this my three-way bluegrass. This right here is where 3 different irrigation heads hit this area, and look at that right there. That is just absolutely gorgeous. Just goes to show you can have this in North Carolina, but you got to be on top of the water, and obviously you got to be on top of the disease control. And I'll say it again, I think for 4 years I didn't spray the first fungicide on this bluegrass, and I either got unlucky and just got hit with this disease, this fungus, or I've just been getting very lucky and not been getting any. Look right here, that's the GT30. Man, you lawn care guys, lawn care operators, that is hands down the fastest plugger I've ever been on in my life. Got the seed box on it, drop the seed down while you're plugging. That joker just saves us bukus of money and time. We run 5 of these we run in the fall. Man, they just really save us a lot of time and money. Strong recommendation to anybody looking for a new plugger for their business. That right there is the way to go. Stinger GT30. This is the 30-inch, where they make that 36 as well. But I highly doubt I'll ever buy anything but this brand because it's just that bad to the bone. And this is that disease right here that only comes around once in a blue moon. It's called the Dead Man Square Kentucky Bluegrass Dead as a Hammer disease. It's not good to get this stuff. I mean, it's devastating, as you can see. It typically shows up in a perfect square. See how it kind of 90s off itself right here? And it's just a terrible, terrible looking disease. Every now and then, you'll see a case of this to where the square won't be perfect. It'll have a little bit of a wave in it right there. You know, it's just unfortunate because if you get this disease, you want your square to be completely perfect. And, you know, it kind of, I don't know, it's just, I don't know what causes that. And then every now and again, you'll see the disease will leave just a little stretch of grass, a little stretch of green grass right in the middle and kind of just tease you and be like, well, that's what it could look like, but it looks like this. I know, full of it, right? This is dead brown from glyphosate, from Roundup, because I did this intentional, but I know, I'm just trying to be funny. And no, I just missed that area with Roundup. It's a bad application, but I'm gonna go back and respray this afternoon and catch that. But I'm not planting the Bermuda here, okay? Get that out of your mind. There's no way I'm going to put that in the middle of this bluegrass just to test it here. I'm testing that at the shop where I've got other Bermuda because, you know, once you go Bermuda, you don't go back. It's a done deal. But I am going to be planting something else here that I'm trying out. And, of course, when I do all that, I'll make a video and show you. And we come right around here, and here's some more Dead Man Square ryegrass. And the same thing, I sprayed this out. This is where I had that ryegrass area back here. And I got a different ryegrass I'm going to put back here and try it out. You know, I tried one out last year, and I mean, I liked it. It looked great, but it's still not what I want out of a ryegrass. So I've got a different variety, 3 different varieties coming from a different manufacturer that I'm going to put right here and try it out. So for those of you that heard me say, you know, might have a ryegrass this coming fall 2024, I'm not going to have that because I'm not going to put my name on a bag of grass seed unless it's absolutely top notch. It has to be best of the best before I'll do that. So we're going to test out some more ryegrass right here. And of course, we'll use some at the shop as well. And some of the ball fields that we oversee with rye, I'll be using that so that I can keep an eye on it all winter and all spring to see how it does, and then compare that to last year's rye that I tried out. But there you go. There's just some green stripes right there. Look at there. You have to kind of get just right, and maybe let's do that and block off the brown back there. Ooh, look how good that grass looks. My sister-in-law over there, you know, our company does that yard. A lot of times you guys will comment about how good that yard looks, and it does look good, but boy, she's about checked out now. Same issue there on the slope. They don't run the irrigation. Some of that over there will probably bounce back. That's more of a gray brown color, so I can still see a little bit of life left in some of that turf over there. So, you know, only time will tell whether some of that will bounce back. Usually when you have the darker browny colors and there are no lesions present and the weather has been hot and dry, no rain, typically that's your drought stress color brown. But when you get to this lighter color brown, where it really lightens up and becomes like a straw color brown, typically that's dead. That's lights out right there. So, you know, a month from now, after we get some more cooler weather, we'll look at that over there and see how much more comes back. And then we'll know what kind of seeding work we have to do out there. So, hope that helps you with different colored browns in the yard. I'm going to go over and finish up another video I'm working on, and then me and my wife are going on a date tonight. So There's that Pythium. Matter of fact, I'm gonna go get that rake right quick before I forget and air that out a little bit. By the way, before I let you go, I don't sell them or nothing. If you don't have one of these rakes, you need to get one, because I'm telling you what, when it comes to raking this stuff out before you overseed, I'm gonna tell you what, that rake is absolutely fantastic for that. It is absolutely amazing. I'm sure if you go on Amazon or somewhere like that, you can probably find them. Look at all that junk come up out of my grass right there. Look at there. That's just in one little spot. Holy cow. One spot. It's like maybe a 1 square foot. And look at all that right there come up out of there. This is that little Pythium spot right here. You know what I need to do is bring my Allett out here. My Allett and that little turf rake, and go over my yard 4 or 5 times with that thing and just really clean out the canopy so it can breathe a little bit better. Look at all that mess right there. Well, that opened that up quite a bit right there. I mean, really opened it up. So maybe that, along with that fungicide app I made earlier, maybe that Pythium won't bother me. There's the source of it right there in that one little spot. So we'll see how that goes. Check you later.